I want to go through it quickly because I want to leave time for questions and hopefully answers at the end. Um, this is me, and thank you, Christina, for doing such a wonderful job introducing me. Um, I am a broker, and I founded H&M Real Estate, and I still do work there, but I'm also a regional broker for a company called Pelago as well. As a broker, you're allowed to hang your hat at two different offices or even more if you want, if they're all in agreement. I've done over 200 flips since 1975. Um, Here's my information. It's my direct number, email, and then my website as well. I'm not too much into social media. I know that's down there, but don't pay attention to it. What we're going to cover today: building a team, sourcing deals, analyzing deals, funding your deals, case studies, other types of investment opportunities. And then we're going to talk about my market outlook. Um, yes, I've been around for 40 years, and I've seen three ups and downs in the marketplace, and I took really uh, good advantage of the last one, having the previous two behind me, and then I can talk about that as we go through the slides. So, building a team. The team you want to build is a real estate agent. Um, Either become a real estate agent or find an investor-friendly agent. You can use Pelago, which is the website that I'm kind of touting today, or go through a listing agent. And when I talk about investor-friendly agent, I'm talking about the very experienced agent that knows what they're doing. Not an agent that and I don't want to offend anybody here, but an agent that just got their license yesterday and wants to work with investors and raises their hand at a meeting and says, "I'm investor friendly." Um, you want somebody that knows what they're doing, and in my case is actively doing it. Wholesalers are a good group of people to reach out to. Title and escrow. I always want to control on all my flips. I always want to control uh, title and escrow. Very important to me. I can't tell you how many times I've run into issues with either an escrow or a title, and I just call my title rep or escrow and get that resolved immediately. Whereas if I'm talking to an escrow person from some company I don't know, they're going to go, "Joe, who?" Instead of, "Hey, Joe, what's happening today?" Um, the way I work my escrow company is that she gives me a really reduced rate because I also give her all my normal clients. So I do still work with buyers and sellers. And so anytime I have one of those and open up escrow, she obviously charges them the normal rate, but on my deal, she gives me a break. And then I obviously give her a lot more inventory. Contractors, subcontractors. Um, this group is going to be the hardest when it comes to dealing with a flip. They're going to, make you get gray hairs. They're going to make you lose your hair. Um, you have to decide kind of upfront with contractors. Are you going to use one? If not, are you going to be kind of the contractor? Are you going to just hire subcontractors? Most subcontractors are unlicensed. Yes, you get better pricing, but then you have to deal with those issues as well at the end of the day. I actually do it both ways, but I always like to try to hire a contractor to oversee everybody else. It's great, and in the end, when you're disclosing all this information to the end buyer, that they feel more comfortable that there was a licensed contractor. And if anything goes wrong, you bring them into the problem as well. With subcontractors, especially if they're unlicensed, it's a little bit more difficult to do. Other parts of your team stages that we stage all our properties, photographers, home inspectors, appraisers, not so much anymore. That was back 10 years ago when I literally just called my favorite appraiser, if you know what I'm talking about, and it appraised. They don't do that anymore. Termite companies, I do have a preferred termite company that I use. Um, Again, I'm not here to offend anybody. So if you work in the termite industry, there's always been a joke and a saying in the real estate community that when you call a termite guy out, he brings the termites in his pocket and starts spreading them around. So, um, yeah, I've got my own people that I trust that aren't going to do something like this. So, this is basically your team when you're doing wholesaling. These are the people that you should be looking for. Sourcing of deals, MLS. I still, look at the MLS every single day. And actually, when we get done here, I'm going to show you a property that I just walked yesterday that was off the MLS. Um, so there's still some deals on the MLS, but most of the time, like 99 out of 100, there's somebody there bidding way too much money for this property. So I don't get a lot of properties off the MLS. Maybe I'd say maybe a handful a year, but it's always good to look. Wholesalers. I just recently hired 10 people just to do cold calling, and I've got them doing cold calling from the office and putting out bandit signs and driving for dollars. And when I say driving for dollars, I don't mean just literally driving around random houses. I use an app called Property Radar. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that, but it gives me notice of defaults. And those are the properties that we drive. So we already know that these people are in trouble. They're not making their mortgage payment. So why not pick on them? And that's what we do. Off-market deals are the best deals that are around because you're dealing directly with the seller. In my case, yeah, I'm talking to the seller directly. I'm telling them this is what we're going to pay you, cash. We can close in 3 to 7 days, and there's no other fees. We pay for title. We pay for escrow. We don't charge them any commissions or anything like that. What we're mostly looking for is the deal and the deal flow. So I like to keep my money because I do all cash. I like to keep my money flowing, in and out of the bank as quick as possible. So the more deals that we can get, the better that is for me. A trustee sale. I stopped going to the auctions about 4 years ago, and then that's just normal because the economy got way better, and there's less trustees foreclosure sales. That may start picking up after the end of the year, after the forbearance period, but we'll wait and see. Orange County is very competitive, and it's not something that a novice is going to go to and pick up a property at the auction. There's about 7 professional groups that deal with the trustee sales in Orange County on a daily basis. It is a lot. It's very time consuming. A lot of the auctions get postponed. So you spend your day really kind of spinning your wheels. And that's why I stopped doing it about 4 years ago. The multiple listing service. So, as an investor and especially when you become a real estate agent, you get your real estate license. I could never understand why real estate agents never practice purchasing properties for themselves. And if you talk to real estate, you'll see that a majority of them, especially nowadays, don't even have their own house, let alone investment properties. And do you want to deal with somebody who has not done this, or do you want to deal with somebody that has? So look for those people that are the doers, I guess, in the real estate world. So people that invest for themselves. I do have an MLS app that I give to clients. It's not any different than, Redfin or Zillow or any of those. It's the same. It's just that app is directly connected to me. Defining your market's really important. High end versus low end. I do kind of in the middle. Um, I will do low end, flips or condos. I do not do high end. So high end to me is 800,000 or above. I find that those type of buyers are more than I want to deal with. I guess that's the kindest way I can say it. And I just like to deal in the middle, 5, 6, 700,000 range, cookie cutter, going in, going in and rehabbing the place and coming back out and not having, somebody who's looking for a $2 million house walk in and say, did I see that tile at Home Depot the other day? It's like, no, okay. I don't want to deal with that. So I don't deal with high end. I just keep it in the middle. This is just, my website, one of my websites to search for properties. Um, Wholesalers. So wholesalers are a different breed in that um, most of them will tell you it's worth way more than it is, and will tell you that it's way less than it is to rehab the property. So you have to be careful with wholesalers. Um, do your own due diligence, do your own comps. Definitely go look at the property, look at the neighborhood, and then go from there. Um, you can find wholesalers. They'll put out bandit signs like we do. Networking, bigger pockets, LinkedIn, Facebook. They're all over. It just depends on whether it's a good one or not. This is one of my sites that I have online to attract investors. Um, this is another one that this my son-in-law put up this site. So these are just lead generation tools that you have to kind of put out there when you're flipping property because, like Kirk was saying, he needs leads. Well, we're this exactly the same way. We're all looking for the same thing. We're looking for leads, distressed properties, stuff like that. Off market. Um, um, the best deals because they're going to be the most distressed, and people aren't necessarily going to put them on the real estate market to sell because whatever reason they could be embarrassed or maybe they just inherited the property and grandma or grandpa never did anything to the place. They just and I like probate deals because their goal is to get as much money as they can out of the property as quickly as they can, and those are real good deals to go after. Direct mail is something I do not do. I do not recommend. It's your dollars and it's your money. And if you want to, if you think you have the perfect letter out there that somebody's going to open, then send it. But I can tell you they're not. Driving for dollars, we already talked about that. Cold calling, we use Mojo Dialer, Deal Machine app as well. We do Google ads and Facebook ads as well. And obviously, at my age, I don't do Google ads. I don't do Facebook. I have to, outsource that stuff to somebody in their 20s. So anyway, I'm getting this flash here. Okay. Okay, trustee sale. So just real quickly, this is the process in California. If you're not aware of it, you have 3 months and 21 days to cure a property if you stop making your mortgage payments. Uh, Granted, it takes the bank about 3 months to get to this process. And yes, they can postpone it as many times as they want to. But if you literally stop paying today and they sent out the notice of trustee sale, you have 3 months. And then they'll, at the 21st day, they'll send out a notice of sale and they could sell your house in 3 months and 21 days. Okay. So buying at the auction, you must have cash and they're bought most of the time sight unseen. There's many a times I'll drive up to the house and knock on the door and try to get in. If it's vacant, I can see that it's vacant. I'll jump over the fence and try to look in the windows and stuff to see, what's going on inside, how much I need to rehab. But most of the time, what we're bidding on at the auction is basically a full rehab. We have to kind of protect ourselves that way. So sourcing of our deals, and this slide's about pre-COVID. So you can see we're getting a lot more off the MLS. Most of our deals right now are coming off market, and we don't do any trustee sales. And we do several wholesalers that are feeding us deals as well. I just got another email before I got on the meetup here from a wholesaler pitching me a deal. Estimating rehab costs. So I use 10% of the ARV. So if I'm looking at a property, 700,000, I know it's going to at least a full rehab, which means taking everything from inside the house out and then replacing brand new, is going to be about $70,000. You can use price per square foot depending on where you live. Rehab obviously costs vary depending on where you are. Find a contractor. That's the most accurate way to do it. And I don't invite my contractor to go out on every property I look at, because if I did, that's all he'd be doing. So he only comes out when I actually put it under contract. Then he comes out and he actually gives me a bid on the property. My contractors know I do not like change orders, so they don't give me change orders. But please ask your contractor about that. If you're not familiar with a change order, they may give you a bid to remove a wall. They start removing the wall and they find something behind her that they don't like, whether it's electricity, mold, whatever. And so obviously they need to change that bid and charge you more. And for me, these type of contractors are just really kind of doing an upcharge. And so I have 3 contractors that I work with right now. I don't trust one to do all my jobs. I like to kind of spread the wealth, so to speak, because they get overwhelmed if I give them too much. And so when I go to job sites, I don't see them. So it's like I have to have at least 3 that I'm working with, and they're all on the same page. It's like, okay, you guys know what I do. You know how to flip properties. You're going to find stuff that maybe you didn't account for. That should already be in your bid. Now, if you get into the job and I say, let's add on a room, okay? I understand if the change order comes in, if you want to add a room, okay? But, just removing a wall and finding, a piece of electrical wire back there that you have to deal with, no, I don't see that, okay? Always try to budget for the unknown, and then that really depends on you. Other expenses outside of contractor quotes, termite repairs, so that's kind of really important. And talk to a bunch of termite guys and see what they can do for you. Okay. Staging and photos, the same thing. I have a stager. I've used her for quite some time. She really hasn't raised her prices, but I noticed that I do send her other clients and leads, and I do notice that when I send them her way, that she charges them a little bit more, and I understand that. Obviously, I'm giving her a lot of her business. Photos, I just use a guy that I've always been using for years. He does a really great job. Landscaping, believe it or not, is probably one of the most expensive things that you're going to do on a flip. So if it's especially a single family, and you've got to make it look nice before people are going to come into the home. And so landscaping is expensive. Financing costs, hard money. I know there's a hard money lender that I was talking to on the breakout session. We use hard money lenders every once in a while. And because I have so much experience in doing this, I think kind of the hard money lender rule is that if you've done over 10 flips, they're going to give you their best rates. So rates vary from 7 to 12. And points vary from a half to 3. I've even heard of 4 or 5, which is crazy, but those are costs that you have to put into the deal. Other holding costs, utilities, HOA, property taxes, supplemental taxes. I don't worry a lot about other holding costs. I'm in and out of these properties in 3 to 4 months, so it's not like if I buy a property for 700,000, the property taxes are going to be at least 7,000 because that's the way California does property taxes, 1% of the purchase price. So, but I'm not going to be paying the 7,000. I'm only going to be paying 3 months of that 7,000. So, I don't worry. I don't worry too much about the holding costs, more the financing costs if I need to. This is an example of the work that we do to fully rehab a single family residence. And so you can see the cost involved here. And yes, it does get up to 75,000, but if you're, let's start out at cabinets. Please call somebody from Angie's List or, off of Craigslist or something. Have them come out and give you a quote for cabinets in a kitchen, and I can guarantee it's going to be around $30,000 or $40,000. So my point is, you need to establish relationships with people. Christina was talking about that. You can meet them here. You can meet them, working with other people. But yeah, this business is about establishing relationships. This job that was done for 75,000, a complete remodel, and I'll show you some of them in the slides that are coming. Again, if you call somebody that's going to be just a regular contractor that you meet, you're going to be paying 3, 4, 5, maybe even 5 times as much as what I pay normally just to flip a property. And that's because of the relationships that I've developed and the deal flow that I give these people. Estimating closing costs, we use 3.5 to 4.5%, and I'm talking about selling it at the end of the day. 1% usually for closing costs for escrow and title, 5%, 2.5% for the buyer side, 2.5% for the listing side. And it's just a general rule. But remember that I'm not paying 2.5% on the listing side because I'm listing it myself. So I'm saving 2.5%. And then I just put some examples there of what you end up paying in commissions. Commissions are a big part of a transaction when you're a flipper. So you can see, like, if you're going to pay 6%, the agent's going to make 36,000, and some of my deals, I could be making 60 or 70. They're making half of that. So I'm not complaining. I'm an agent, so I'm not complaining. So how much to offer, establish what the ARV is after repair value, determine what your rehab costs are going to be, determine obviously how much money you're going to make. I like to do at least 10%. So there's deals that I make 13, 14%. There are deals that I make 8%. So if I average around 10%, I'm happy. And establish an offer amount. So for example, an ARV 675, rehab 75, closing costs 33,750. I'm looking for a 10% return. The maximum allowable offer for that property is 506. Okay. And this is the calculations that I go through every single day that I look at property or people send me deals. This is what I have to go through. This is my reality here in Orange County. So you look at that, you go, well, who would sell a property that's worth 675 or 506? You'd be surprised. It just depends on the condition. I'll show you at the end of the slides here. Comping properties, comparable sales. Try to keep it as close to the property as possible within the last 6 months. You can go up or down in square footage. Same thing with bedrooms. You can account for all that stuff. Pools are a pain in the neck, and the pools, I describe them in 2 ways. One, a hole in the ground, or two, a resort. And obviously, if it's a resort pool, it's going to be worth, a lot more money, maybe 70, 80 grand. A pool that just literally is just a hole in the ground, like they used to build them, and doesn't have any hardscape or doesn't have any slides, or it doesn't have a barbecue back there, whatever. Worth maybe 10 to 15,000. I know a lot of people, including some of my clients, that are just literally just pulling them out before they sell their house, because it just doesn't add much value. ADUs, I do not do ADUs. That seems to be the popular movement right now, but I do the numbers for ADUs and stuff, and it's never there. And plus, an ADU is going to take me probably 8, 9 months if I'm lucky, maybe a year to build, and by that time I'm in and out of 3 properties. It doesn't make dollars and cents to me to do ADUs, or do add-ons or anything like that. Zoning, pay attention to your zoning. Pay attention to the location as well. Road noise is a problem. Freeways, airports, school districts do matter nowadays. And so look for school districts, good school districts. That does not mean that I'll buy properties that are in a bad school district or whatever. I will. I mostly deal with what is the after repair value in that neighborhood. And if I can see that there's been 3 properties sold in the last 6 months, I know that I'm not going to have a problem selling it for that price when I'm done with it, whether it's a good school district or not. This is the Pelago website, and Pelago has the property information. So you just put the address in, it pops up the property information, and then the next tab goes into comps, then rehab and flip, and then finally rental. This is kind of a one-stop shop for real estate investors, and it'll give you everything that you need to make an intelligent, informed decision about whether that property is going to be good to flip it or even to rent it at the end of the day. So this is the first property detail that it gives you. It gives you obviously all the information, pictures, list price. It even goes back to the history. And then it goes into comps, and you can check each comp that you think, the closest ones that are best match. It'll tell you whether the property that you're looking at as a comp, like this one, is a flip. And they determine that by how quick it sold. Okay, so one day somebody bought it for 170, as you can see on this one, and then looks like about a year later they sold it for 355. So it was definitely a flip. So you can go through there, and they'll tell you all that information. On the rehab, it starts out a light rehab, and it goes all the way to heavy rehab, and it kind of gives you a range and dollar amount that you can put in. And then you go into the actual analysis. So holding this property for 5 months, after repair value 362, and I know this is not anywhere near Orange County. Okay, so purchase price 213. You can see rehab cost, and then the flip profit on this property was $38,223, and your total return cash return was 51%, or 12.99 total return. So I like this website because it gives you all this information. You're right there, you have to go different places to get it. If you decided to rent this place, you can see that they've kind of indicated you probably get $1,700 a month, and all your costs is you're making $173 a month on this property. Nowhere in Orange County, okay? This property website also gives you the ability to save all this information. And then if you don't have an agent, you can send it to your agent and say, hey, can you confirm all this stuff that I have on there? Make sure that I did this right. So I like the website. Source of capital, how to fund your deals. When I met Kirk, he was funding his deals probably from people in this group and family members. And he literally just started doing flipping I think it's when we first kind of met. Maybe you were flipping a couple years before that, but I was very impressed with him. And that I get a lot of people that say, no, I can't do it, and it's too expensive, and all those negative naysayers out there. And I always get impressed with people that actually get out there and do it. And Kirk's one of those people. So if you have money, I mean, if you have a deal, money's going to flow to your deal easily. There's going to be people that are going to say, "Yeah, that's an awesome deal. I'll invest in there with you." Okay. Um, Learn how to find distressed properties. There's always going to be a buyer. There's more money than deals out there right now. So go find the deals, educate yourself. Learn how to flip properties if that's what you want to do. Go out and find a deal and then get an investor involved in the deal. Um, we talked about hard money, and this is just kind of information in that joint venture. Again, I think Kirk brought that up earlier. Um, yeah, there's no reason why if you find a deal and find yourself a money partner, or even somebody that just wants to joint venture something with you, um, that's a great source to do the deals. Case studies. I'm going to kind of go through these real quick. This is a property that my son-in-law actually, him and I did. We flipped this property, toe belt and hammerish, as you can see before and after picture here. So this was early on, about 7 years ago, when he asked me to flip properties. And this was one of the first ones. This was the first one that we did. And let me go through the numbers. It was a senior community, and we started out with permits. What you have to understand in a senior community is these are all old people, and all they have to do is to come by and stick their nose in your business. And so they stuck their nose in my business, and they called the HOA, and the HOA says, "You need a permit." And I said, "No, we're not doing anything on the outside. We're doing everything on the inside." "No, it doesn't matter." I'm not going to argue with them. I ignored them, but then they called the city, and then the city came out and said we needed a rehab permit. Okay, so we ended up getting a rehab permit. Whatever, just a learning lesson there. Hold on, I skipped the. Oh, there we go. So we purchased it for 390. He's the effective purchase price is because we got a commission on this deal, so we credited that back to the property. We rehabbed it for 53,000. We sold it for 535, and there's closing costs, and we made a profit of 82,000 on the first deal. My son-in-law was working at the time. He took off time to do this project. After this project, he says, "I'm done. This is what I want to do for a living for the rest of my life," which is what he's doing now. This is another property that we also rehabbed, him and I. There's a hoarder type house. That's what it looked like before. Sorry for the picture being so dark, but that's it. There you can see that's the fireplace in the living room area. And this is how we got it. So we had to deal with all this stuff. Not unusual, when people say, "Okay, well, yeah, you can buy the house, but can you also take care of all this stuff after we leave?" "Yeah, sure, okay." So we did. This one we bought it at the foreclosure auction, sight unseen, and we gave the owner the option of being evicted or cash for keys. She chose cash for keys, so we gave her some money, and then she left. Purchase price, sold price, made 61,000 on this one. This is the previous picture was this property. Backspace there. That's this next property I'm going to show you. That's the finished project. And I think this was probably one of the last ones that we did together before we started hiring contractors. Again, purchased at the for trustee sale, purchased owner occupied. That guy did not take cash for keys. We ended up evicting him. We offered we offered him $5,000 to get out in 2 weeks. He said, no, I don't have enough time. I said, okay. So we hired our eviction attorney, and our eviction attorney charges us $1,000 to evict these people. And the Monday before the sheriff was to come over and lock him out of the house, he decided to leave. Of course, he left all the furniture and everything behind, but we ended up really saving $4,000 on this deal because he chose the eviction route. Made 73,000 on this property. So there's before, there's after on Cassell. This property was vacant for over 20 years, and it just astounds me what people do with real estate. And it's just like, why would you have a property vacant for 40 years? I mean, 20 years is like crazy. Um, so anyways, purchased 585. We ended up selling it over asking price 790. Now we're getting into a little bit newer properties that we've been flipping. Just 87,000 on this one. Other types of investments, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of all this Burr stuff. 70% rule is what I use. So, I'm not even going to really spend too much time on this. These are just other investment opportunities and strategies. Market outlook, okay, so what I think and what I see is happening now, obviously historically low inventory. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Stock market at record highs. That is like so shocking to me. I don't invest in the stock market. I did when I was in my 20s. And that was when we had professional brokers back then. Not like you do it now, but I literally hire a professional to manage my money, and he would lose it. And so I got very discouraged, and I said, I'll never do this again. And that's when I started to do more real estate, and been happy ever since. So I don't do stock market, but it's like, I don't know, like in the middle of a pandemic, I would think it'd be going down, but it obviously is not. I think seller's market will continue with more buyers in the market than homes available. Slight growth appreciation will continue. Forbearance rate is extremely high. That's kind of what I'm banking on at the end of the year. That's why I'm gearing up my cold calling team. And I think you'll see a lot more of this issue with the forbearance. And it's not going to be like they're distressed in that they can't make their mortgage payment, but they have enough equity in the house to sell it through a normal, real estate process and agent and stuff. It's not like they're upside down like we were 10 years ago. That's not what you're going to see. You're going to see people that they just can't make their mortgage payment anymore. So their options are, sell it on the open market. If they start running out of days, remember, because the foreclosure period, 3 months and 21 days, if they can't sell their property within that period of time, they're going to lose all their equity. Then they're going to reach out to people like me. Margins will continue to become compressed. And I put down a new president and I put a bunch of question marks because who knows? I think we've decided, but who knows? I don't know. Things to watch out for, and I've had this slide for like quite some time, and then I was looking at it the other day, and I'm going, things to watch out. Trade war with China, yeah, we're still kind of doing that, and then I put down a war with Iran, and then I don't know if you've been listening to the news lately, but they said that they talked the president out of going to war with Iran, and I'm thinking, Jesus, was I like looking at my crystal ball too closely or something? Jobs report, the jobs are getting better, and that's good. And then I already talked about forbearance and foreclosure rates. So those are the things to watch out for. I think we're at one point in time, we're going to head to another recession because we're way overdue. but I don't see that around the corner, so to speak. The end, and what I want to do is go into, um, bear with me here. Okay, so this is the property. How to make this bigger? Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I literally looked at this property yesterday. Hey, Joe Holmes here. Just found this property on the MLS literally this a couple of hours ago. And we're in Santa Ana, and I just wanted to show you kind of what I look for in a house. This one was built, it's 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2563 square feet, built in 1963. First thing we do is we start on the outside, and as you can see, curb appeal is the most important thing. Obviously, there's no curb appeal here. I kind of start from the up and then go down. So I looked and see the roof is in really good condition. Looks like it was replaced recently. However, the windows and the painting outside, and as you can see, the woodwork here leaves something to be desired. You can also see some termite damage at the bottom of these posts. So all this stuff is going to need to be taken care of. Since it was built in 1963, I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm positive because I checked there is copper lines in the house, which is another thing you want to look for. Galvanized, you're probably going to have to repipe the entire house. We're going to walk through the downstairs here. First left is the living room. That stairs coming down. But you have your living room here. You have this partition kind of door. All this I would remove both sides to open up this space. Then you get into your dining room. And then while we're here real quick, we're just going to go out to the backyard and take a look at the pool. So you've got a door here from the dining room to the pool. What I look for out here is mostly the fencing, that it's in good shape, and this one actually is. The pool obviously is empty. Something that's going to have to be resurfaced and reconditioned. The cement around it looks in really good shape. This is metal, so this really will last forever. It's a good painting on that, and same thing with the outside. Just paint the outside and make it look brand new. So we'll come back in here. This is the kitchen area as we enter here. This appears to be a non-load bearing wall. So I would probably take that wall out and open it up, open this space up, the kitchen space, so that the stove is facing out into the dining area and also into the living area over there, because you're going to remove those two walls. As you can see above you, it looks like there was a water leak coming from the bathroom upstairs. And that's what all this is about, taken care of. These are all original appliances, as you can see there. Blue and pink and green were very fashionable in the 60s. And so I see this a lot when I go in and find a place to rehab. The trap or the bathroom upstairs probably looks like it's coming from the tub, and so that was fixed. Then we go around here, and you have the main bathroom downstairs. Device, whatever you call them. This house survived the 70s, because you'll see every room has different wallpaper. We go into the master bedroom. Again, has a wall air conditioning unit. It's got a large walk-in closet over here. And then on this side is got your master bath set up. So in here, I would literally take the bath shower combination out, and I would just put a shower in this area, because this wallpaper on there. And then I'll back up a little and I'll let you pop into this bedroom. So now we're at bedroom number 4. We probably put some nice flooring both downstairs and upstairs, vinyl flooring, repaint all the. Okay, yeah, that's kind of it. I'm sorry I didn't see anything chat.